Good evening, Podium Chasers. I hope you are all well. Welcome back to the Formula Racing League PureSimGear GT3 Fridays, and we are round. Where are we this evening? Round back. Okay, just checking the sound. Round 4 this evening. We are at the Circuit of the Americas, or COTA, as everyone likes to call it. And yeah, it's going to be pretty epic this evening. I've got no doubt about that. We've got a 60-minute race for everybody to feast on, and we've also got a 20-minute qualifying session, which will be split 10 minutes for the AMS and 10 minutes for the Pro class, which is what we do every Friday. Now, for those of you that have used to watching the channel and sort of catch some of the live streams, you will notice that we did have the super sprints here on Tuesday, and the rookies had their go last night, and that one, well, I mean, that was one of the old school, into turn one, every man for himself. And I kind of think the situation radar on a few individuals yesterday was turned off in turn one, so it did cause some issues. But anyway, welcome to the show, everyone. We have a few in watching at the moment. Harry Goswell's been in the live chat. Good luck, mate. Hope you're well this evening, as we're currently having a look. What are we looking at the moment on track? Aaron Dewsbury, part of the Red Kings Motorsport chaps, although it does look a little bit jittery at the moment, so if that does happen, please do let me know. Although good on my other screen. So we will of course run through all of the driver stats in this part of free practice, and once we've done that, it's getting pretty close actually at the top of both the AM and the Pro class, so I think this evening there is a lot at stake. What? Harry's not racing this evening as he's, well, homeless. Ah, where you moving house? Oh no, are you serious? That's shocking, Harry. That is shocking. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, mate. Let's hope they bring you some decent room service. That's all I'm going to say. So yeah, well, at least you're watching. Hopefully we'll keep you entertained. So yeah, we'll run through the driver stats. When we get into qualifying, what we always like to do is a lap guide. So we'll jump on board with somebody, and we will actually get to really understand what it's like to be on there. Good evening, Kino. I hope you're well. I was having a little watch of you earlier on, and your livery looks very, very smart indeed. So best of luck this evening to you, Kino. Yeah, so you know what to do, guys. If you haven't pressed like, please do. Any questions, drop them in the chat. If you're watching, if you're not part of Formula Racing League, maybe you're supporting somebody, we always like to get involved in the live chat. No one's going to bite you in there. So drop in, say hi, let us know who you're supporting, or indeed any questions or facts. We don't mind. It's all part of what we do. So we are, as I say, we are currently in free practice. Let's just go over here. Now you'll see at the top of the timesheets we've got for you on the left hand side, Guardby looks like he's been putting in a little bit of practice, so he's currently leading. I know it's only free practice, but it all counts, track time, so he's done a 2:06.175. Alfie Barron is a smidge behind him, and then we've got Sergio, and then traction, COPS. We'll get into all this. There's a lot that's going to happen this evening, so let's have a look at Alfie Barron. Let's have a look and see what his form is like in free practice. I'll pop in and out through steam. I've got to find something to eat. Oh my now. Mate, I feel for you, dude. Just Eat, Uber. I don't know, something like that. You'll be alright. You're a big boy, you can fend for yourself. Yeah, all sorts going on in the live chat. So let's have a quick look, shall we, at temperatures. So it's a little bit on the warm side, probably a bit warmer than what it is in the COMMS cave at the moment. It's 32 ambient and 41 on track, so those tyres are in for a rather large workout this evening, and I can't see those tyres temps and stuff like that dropping off too quickly. So right, before we get into more action, let's have a look at the standing, shall we? Let's bring you all up to date. Again, this is round 4, so if we look at the AM class, Alan Brown, Mr. Alan Brown, a fresh Bizzle, is leading the class. Fantastic from him so far in his V8 Vantage. He's on 133 points. Sergio is in second place in his Vantage on 130 points. There's only 3 points between those two. And then Luke Gator's in third in his McLaren 720, 104 points. Blanchett is fourth in the Audi on 90 points. And then we've got Guzikov is 5th. He got a DNS in the last race, so I'm sure he'll be still about on 78 points. Fabian Kana is in 6th place in his Porsche on 72 points. Robbie Robstrat 7th in his Ferrari on 69 points. Then Christopher Gedman is 8th in his Bentley on 59. Kukowski 9th on 57. He's got a DSQ next to his name. Harry Goswell, 2 DNFs, won the last race, if you remember, on 56 points. He's going to drop a absolute shed load of points tonight. Unfortunately, Chica, Ian Thompson is 11th in the Lambo on 55 points. Aaron Dewsbury, who we were looking at earlier on, in his McLaren's on 54 points. And then Tugberg's 13th on 50. Chris Jones, 14th in his McLaren on 49 points. Nick Stick is 15th in his McLaren on 48 points. Then we've got Nigel Longden, 16th on 41. Patrick Dean, 17th on 40, tied with Mark Vilheiner. Went to see his livery. We do have a couple of playboys out there this evening. You'll see what I mean when we get going. Pavlov is 19th on 37. Rowdy Burns 20th in his Porsche on 34 points. Neil Woodward 21st in his Porsche on 21. And then we've got Terry Williams 22nd on 17 points. And everybody else below that so far has not scored a point. That's the AM class. So let's just change camera. So I'm sure we don't all just want to be looking in the pit lane. And so let's find... 1 second. There we go. Look at that. So, teammates, evidently. We'll have a quick look at Maximilian Camara in his 71 Ferrari. Look at that livery. I mean, talk about living the lifestyle, but brilliant. I absolutely love it. And Mark Vilheiner, he also has the same livery on, so that's pretty cool, chaps. I do like that. Before we run through the Pro class, let's have a look at that. Claire's in. Good evening, Claire. Hope you're well. Hope Kino puts on a decent performance for you this evening in his car, obviously, not in Bournemouth. But yeah, hope you're well. And well, you know what to do. Drop a like, really. That would be fantastic. And let's get back to the stats. So in the Pro class, equally as close, Alfie Barron is leading that class at the moment on 161 points in his McLaren. Michael Races, actually it's not that close, is it? Let's be honest. Alfie Barron is absolutely rapid. He's just a machine. Michael Races, who we know is also rapid, he's second currently in his Mercedes on 100 points, 61 points between those two already. Chris Vining is third in his Honda on 89 points. Then we've got Delatoire's fourth in the Aston on 89 points also, so they're tied for third. That could be very interesting tonight. Robin Taylor's fifth in his Aston on 86 points, tied again with Edo Kops. If you remember last week, we were talking about Edo and his cousin, so we've got 2 Kops on the grid, and well, yeah, they had a very, very good race last week, so I'm sure they're going to want to swap that round because Rock Cops took away the bragging rights last week. I'm sure Edo's going to want to do the same tonight. Zach Daly's 7th in his Honda on 78 points. Then we've got Keddy 8th on 77 points. I don't think Keddy's racing tonight. I think he's flying a plane. Poznikov is 9th in the BMW on 76 points. And then we've got Kogulu, our man on a keyboard, is 10th in the BMW on 72 points. Rock Cops, as you can see there, in 11th. In his Audi on 68 points. Tabovsek is in 12th in the Ferrari on 63 points. And then we've got Kodaman is 13th with a DSQ next to his name on 53 points. Polovchuk's 14th in the Beamer on 49 points. Ranjbar's 15th in a Mercedes on 47. Then Milanovic is 16th in his Merc on 42 points. 17th, we've got Filipov in the Aston on 32. Dave Goodway's in 18th, aka Crazies, in his McLaren on 26 points. He's tied with Malka Gardby, who we've seen is obviously putting in some decent laps this evening. And then we've got Ivanov is 20th on 23 points. Amir 21st in his Ferrari on 23 points. And then Traction Dave, because, well, I mean, you know, he's changed car. So Traction's 22nd in his McLaren on 15 points. And then everybody else in there doesn't have any points as yet, so that brings you all up to date. Oh, we've got some donuts going on in the pit lane. Fantastic. That was a lovely exit there. Who's 220? Thanks very much. So that brings everybody fully up to date with the standings. So we know it's very, very tight in that AM class. Only 3 points between the top 2, and we know in the Pro class, 3rd is tied and 4th is tied as well. So there's a lot to play for at the moment. So Traction Dave, let's have a look at him in his McLaren. Let's pop back over here for 1 second. We've got about 5 minutes left of free practice, and then again we will of course go into qualifying. It will be a 20-minute session, 10 minutes for the AMs, and then 10 minutes for the pros. That will set our grid. I'm sure it's not going to be all pros and all AMs. It generally never is. There's some very quick individuals at the top end of the AM class, and then we've got 60 minutes of hard work for these guys. Let's have a look. So Claire, oh dear, Claire didn't. And Dal's in. Hello, Dal. How are you, my friend? Are you good? How are you feeling today? How's the leg? Yeah. Well, tell me then. No. I hope you're well, mate. I hope you're well. Good. So let's move away from traction, because we don't want to watch traction. Let's have a look at the current leader in the AM class, Alan Brown, aka Fresh Brizzle, putting in some laps at the moment. Top of the timesheet, still Garby with that 206.175. So evidently people are doing different type of, or different runs at the moment, aren't they? You know, we've got quali runs, they'll be doing long field runs. Nick's stick is yellow on my screen at the moment, but there you go. So I think now would be a good time. Whilst we've got a few minutes left, let's have a quick look. We always like to give a shout out every single stream to the people that make this possible, and that is obviously you guys that watch and everyone that's part of Formula Racing League that get involved and are a patron, which we are extremely grateful for. That's what allows us to put on all of these events. So here is your list. I know Dal keeps telling me it needs to be updated, but hasn't sent me an updated one. And so I'm sure it's actually about 28 pages worth of people, which is great, because I get 20%. No, I don't know. So there you go. There's the guys that actually make this possible. And then if anyone's watching that's new, is thinking, well, what can I get involved with the Formula Racing League? You are the biggest guys on the sim grid. I've heard good things about you. Well, here you go. Here's your calendar. So Super Sprint, it happens on a Tuesday at 8 o'clock UK time. That's two 25-minute sprint races interspersed with two 10-minute qualifying sessions. We've got the Rookies GT3s. That happens on a Thursday, again at 8 o'clock UK time. That's fantastic for people getting involved in the league or just getting to understand FRL, the rules. There's obviously a big spread of driver skill level there, as well was evidently shown last night. And then we've got the main dish, this one, the PureSimGear GT3 Fridays, 8 o'clock kickoff for qualifying. 60-minute race, 20-minute quali. It is the one that everybody wants to win, and obviously we know you guys and girls want to get involved in endurance, so we run that once a month on a Saturday, 1:30 UK time. And we've got some really good one-off special events coming up. Note for the diary, 19th of November, the 24 hours of Spa. You heard that correct. We're going to run a full 24 hours, which is going to be epic. There's no other word to describe that one. So I'm going to get involved and do a bit of comms on that one, maybe 10 minutes. I don't know. We'll do some comms for that. And there may also be a different type of surprise for that one. Work in progress. Work in progress. So we'll see. Right, so let's get off Brizzle. We've had enough of him. Let's have a look at his main competitor, Sergio Osorio, there in the 503 Aston. Those two are definitely going to be at it tonight. Can't blame them. What are you saying, Dal? Alan Brown drive, what, the purple? No. Dal's coming up with his own nick. Dal, get off the Iron Brew, okay? The extra fizzy version, no doubt that's what you've got at the moment. That's all good, man. That's all good. Michael Races, how is he getting on? He's fourth at the moment, 7 and a bit, well, nearly 8 tenths off the pace, but again, it is only free practice, so we shall see how that develops. We have got 1 minute and 48 left of this session, and then the meaty stuff is going to get underway, which I'm really looking forward to. I mean, I always look forward to the racing, but I think tonight's going to be pretty good, especially given all of the challenges which we're going to talk through when we get into qualifying that this track has to offer. Before we do that, look, coffee delivery device, obviously courtesy of Formula Racing League. Pick one of those up. Absolutely brilliant. Makes my coffee fantastic. But obviously my coffee would be a lot better if any of you people watching wanted to buy me a coffee. So buymeacoffee.com/comms by Coops. Small donations page, one-off. It would be awesome. You know, helps buy more kit to make the shows better for everybody that watches. But there we go. Alright, I think we're about to dive out of this one now, as Michael Races decides to show us his beautiful rear end. Look at that, Redion Sim Racing Accessories. If anyone's wondering what Redion is, go onto their website or just search on Google Radeon, and they do wind simulator products. Very, very good actually. Cascanova did a review video on YouTube about that, which was actually pretty cool. I know it took him about 8 years to make, but we've all got to start somewhere. It would take me longer. And if you do want to get involved with that, you know, I think there's a little discount code, RKM Coops, that you could use, which would save you a few percent on that. Have a look. Have a look. Oh, don't want that up there. Oh, Discord's trying to get in the way of things. Anyway, so we are finishing this session now. They'll shoot me for saying that. But it's alright, I'm wearing bulletproof stuff anyway. Right, so we're just waiting for the session to finish. As you can see, 9 seconds left, and then we are going to go straight into qualifying, which I am very much looking forward to. The AMs are going to go out first. We'll jump on board with them. We'll have a look at the track. We'll consider what the challenges are going to be, well, thrown at the drivers tonight, really. And then if anyone's got any questions in the live chat, pop them in there. Come on. Apart from Dan, obviously. But 6 of you at the moment. Appreciate all of you watching. Thank you for your time this evening. And there we go. We're going to move over. JR. Hello, Mr. Lock and Load. How are you doing, mate? Are you well? I hope you're well. Of course you're well. It's Friday. Why would you not be well? You're here for the DT... Yeah, well, I think there might be a few of those, if I'm being totally honest with you. But, you know... Let me just get my information back on the screen, because with this software, I have to redo it every time. Right, let's pick who's first out the bag. Of course it is. I say this every week. Everyone knows when I do the comms, first out the bag, they always get on the stream. They know that in qualifying. So, Mr. Alan Brown, he decides he's going to lead the pack out. And he is followed... Who's he followed by? Blanchett. So, Blanchett is second out the bag. We'll look at him afterwards in his... very, very nice Audi. So we're going to do a quick sort of warm-up lap. That's it, JR and Dow. Live chat is going to take care of itself now. Those two, one can talk for England and one can talk for Scotland. Leave them. They should have their own comms show, actually. You wouldn't. No one would even hear each other. I mean, when in Rome. Yes, indeed, my friend. Right, okay, so we're watching Alan Brown at the moment, so we're just doing their warm-up laps. Qualifying has just started. Remember, they've only got 10 minutes, you can see, top left. There's 18 minutes left of the session, so we're talking, it's a 2-minute plus lap here, so once you've done a warm-up lap and you've got some heat cycles through those tyres and brakes, you've then got to be going for it, so they're probably only fueled, I'd say, 2. I'd only be fueled for 2 anyway, and just hope and pray, to be fair. Right, let's actually get in car. We haven't been in car yet, have we? So, it's Aston time. And again, if you didn't know where we were, you just saw that big sign. We are at COTA, Circuit of the Americas. A really, really challenging circuit, which I think generates a really good racing, to be fair, because you've got a couple of very, very long straights, which that's going to facilitate a slipstream. That could then facilitate some decent racecraft, hopefully. Decent being the key word there. Racecraft at the end of those straights as Briz starts his fast lap. Here we go. On the run up to turn 1 again, as you can see, we're going to go uphill, and then it's a heavy braking zone. We want a late apex. And what I was watching in the rookies, people weren't going for late apexes that much. They were trying to turn in earlier, which was evidently compromising their line on the way out. And we've got an absolutely flat section down here. We're not going to do the lap guide at the moment, but in terms of challenges, track challenges, so you've got a long straight there. Now we've got a really twisty section, just like Maggots and Beckett's, really high speed, all about the balance of the car and making sure we don't collect any sausage curbs, because that won't be pleasant if you do that. It really won't. Yeah, and then you've also... After you've done the quick section, you've got another little straight. You've got a couple of areas where you've got then moving into some more medium corners. Again, late apex there. We'll do the full lap guide when we get into the pros. But you've got some slower corners as well, and then at the end of the track, you know, just as an extra challenge, you've got, you know, there's a right-hander at the end which has actually got 4 apexes in, and you've really got time when you're on and off the throttle there to be able to get the speed out of the car, get the traction correct, and power out towards the end of the lap. So, but there we go. So let me just change. So that's session best. Let's do qualifying personal best delta. Let's do that one, shall we? Okay, so on your screen now on the left, you'll be able to see each driver and whether they're up or down on their current lap. So obviously if they're in green, you know they're doing better than the last lap. If not, well, hello, Mr. Rock. Holy moly. A 205? Oof. No, I'm going for 6s. I'm going for 6s, I think. Well, I think Alfie might be close at getting in the late 205s. Right, so Brizzle's coming across the line. There we go. A 207.673. Great time in there. Hi, Coops. Hope I can finish the race without crashing. I didn't practice, but oh dear. Well, let me tell you, Amir, let me tell you, mate, that pit entrance, we'll do it on the lap guide, you've got to be pretty careful, right? Because I was watching Gedman's stream last night, and he was a poor lad, he didn't have a great race, and at the end he went to go back in the pits to get some damage fixed, and as soon as he come into the pit lane, you've got to get on the brakes, literally as soon as you cross the pit entrance line, and have the car basically angled properly towards the left, and he didn't manage to do that because of the damage, and he just slowly just went and headbutted the wall. I was giggling. I know he was frustrated, but I found it quite funny. Anyway, Dewsbury, you can see currently he's in second place. That's nice from him, and he's up. Brown is up as well on his time. Asario is third. Robbie Robstra's fourth. Woodward fifth. Gedman sixth. Then we've got Terry Williams, Vilhiner, Vilhiner. I keep getting that wrong. Anyway. But there you go. Yeah, very well, Rock. Hope you do well tonight, mate. I hope you do well. Let's see how Ido gets on. 10 of you in at the moment, which is fantastic to see, guys. Let me know who you're supporting. Yeah, you can't just be watching for the fun. I mean, if you are just watching for the fun of it, let me know. But if you're supporting someone, or if you're driving, just let me know. It'll be cool. And don't forget to leave a like. That's what it's all about. Then I know you guys are all right. Well, anyway, let's get off Briz. We've been watching Briz enough. Right, Dewsbury, let's see what your man can do in the Red Kings Motorsport McLaren there. Currently in second place in the AM class. There's 3 1/4 minutes left of this qualifying session. And obviously the pro guys, they'll start trundling out before those 10 minutes so they can get themselves some track position. But everybody, as you can see, apart from Robbie Robstrat, are showing green. So they are all improving. And Dewsbury, well, he's improving nicely. But look at Azorio there. He's almost 3/4 of a second up on his previous lap time, which, given that would put him pole by about 2 tenths, but then Briz is 2.5 tenths up on his. So there you go. Alan Brown 207.377. So he's definitely setting the benchmark. And remember, in terms of Alan Brown and Sergio, there's only 3 points between them at the top of the AM Championship. So this story's been developing over the last few weeks and is going to start coming to a head, I feel, this evening and for the next couple of rounds of the championship. So what can Dewsbury do? Let's see. So Sergio, a 206. Nice. A 206.827 from Sergio. He goes provisional pole in the AM class. And Dewsbury also improved. He did 207 flat. So he puts himself up into P2. Brown moves down to P3. Then we got Longdon. Robbie Robstra's in 5th. Thompson is 6th at the moment. Neil Woodward's improving on his lap time. Let's have a look at Neil and his lovely... Oh, Neil! Well, it's a nice Porsche, I'll give him that. And I think maybe Neil needed to watch my car guide that I did yesterday in the Coops Cars series on the channel, which was of the Porsche. So maybe he should watch that and... Well, I don't know. Anyway, let's have a look at Mr. Vilhiner in his Playboy Porsche, of course. Fantastic. Well, let's get in. Let's see. Let's have a listen. JR, you weren't terrible on Tuesday. You were not terrible on Tuesday. You've got to give yourself a little bit more credit than that, I think. JR in the live chat is just saying that he didn't have a great race on Tuesday. Well, you didn't do too bad. Let's put it that way. So you're all good, mate. You're all good. Right, anyway, so we are currently on board with Mark Vilhiner. get on that late apex. Look at that. Look at it in the 66. Guys, there's 9 of you watching. Give me a thumbs up if you like that livery. I think it looks pretty epic. So Sergio is still quickest. Yeah, he hasn't improved on that time yet, but he is 2/10 up currently, so that's good going by him. Dewsbury still second, Anna Brown third, not improving at the moment. And then Nigel Longdon puts up into 5th and is improving again. So Nigel Longdon could, let's get on board with Longdon, as we've just seen Mark Wilheiner put his Porsche in 7th place. Well done to you, mate. Nigel Longdon, I want to see how this lap finishes for him. And I do like that livery as well. Do you know what? It's one of the most beautiful things with this simulator is the fact that people can get really creative with them liveries, and we all get to see all of that hard work. Just that individuality is brilliant. I absolutely love it. So we've got 20 seconds left. So people are going to cross the line. They need to be doing it now. Nigel's going to get this lap in. He's going to get one more. Where's he going to go with that time? He moves himself up to P4. Sergio's on a lap. Dewsbury's on a lap, improving. Brown's on a lap, improving. Nick Stick is in 5th. Nigel says that's enough for him. So let's have a look at Nick in a 38 McLaren. Sergio is in the pits currently. So the pros are now coming out, so we just need to see how this finishes. No, he gets out of the way. Look at that gaggle. Look at the gaggle of pros coming out there. Right, so in terms of the AM class, Sergio looks like he's got pole position at the moment. Dewsbury is going to be in 2nd, Alan Brown 3rd, Longdon 4th, Nick Stick 5th, Robbie Robstrat is going to be 6th, Vilheiner 7th, Thompson 8th, Jones 9th, Tobing 10th, Woodward 11th, Gedman 12th, and then Terry Williams and Carner 13th and 14th. That is where we are at there. Herbert 15th and Beaucamp, Daniel Beaucamp in 16th there. Right, so let's get on board with some pros, shall we? Alex Zagdal. Anyone else in front of them that we need to have a look at? Oh, Ranjbar. So Ranjbar, he's got himself out nice and early, hasn't he? Has indeed. In case anybody was wondering, how do I differentiate between the Pro and the AM class? Very simple. The AM class have the red backing on their driver number, and the Pros have the white backing. Gedman the Menace. Yes. His language was a little bit choice as well, Dal, which I don't blame. I mean, to be fair, one incident, he was cussing the other guy, and I'm sitting there watching it, and my wife will attest to this. I'm looking at my phone, talking, I'm like, no, Chris, that was all you. But that was just my honest opinion. So, yeah. You know, these things happen. We can't do much about that. Right, let's have a look at old Headicam. So, Keno stayed in the pits, that's fair enough. Where's Camara? There he is. Right, so he is not first out of the bag. Simon to Bovsek in the 100 Ferrari. He is first out. So we're going to have a little watch of him. Let's get on board. Let's do a lap guide, shall we? So, on to the start. Pretty straight. Absolutely full throttle as we head up the hill towards turn 1. We're looking towards the right-hand side. Take as much curb as possible. There's a white line there. Bang on the brakes. Down into first. Late brakes. Obviously, I said before, we need a late apex, and we're full on the throttle. Don't take too much curb on there. And with this corner, you can go absolutely flat out through here. You can hook that curb, pull the car across to the right, and set yourself up. We're in 5th gear at the moment. We're going to drop it to 4th, and then we're going to dab the brakes down into 3rd, get the car tucked in, and then we're going to off. We've got to balance the throttle here, modulate down into 2nd. I would be there. Squeeze the throttle on across to the right-hand side, then pause, get the car turned in nicely. Then we're going to squeeze again, backing off the throttle again, down into 2nd, really tight. Hook that curb, get it across to the right. Do not touch that sausage curb on the left-hand side that you saw then. Full throttle down the hill, take some of that curb, you can take more than that. Move it out towards the right, and then we're looking for the 2nd dark shade now on the brakes. Again, late apex into 1st gear, get the car turned in, squeeze the throttle now. Use all of that runoff area. Don't use those curbs on the sausage curbs. You will fly. You will bounce in the air. I saw James Williams the other day in his pink Mercedes, and the car was doing a wheelie. It was absolutely crazy. Anyway, here we have the rather large long straight, which should bring us some decent racing. Then we're going to get on the brakes on the white line there again. We're going to get down into 1st, late apex, squeeze on that throttle, miss them on there, get the car across to the left hand side. Then we're just going to back off here, back off. We've got a double apex, so just in we go. Now we're going to squeeze. We can go full throttle now, full throttle, up into third, across middle of the track, on the brakes, late apex again for this left-hander. So there's, again, you can see there's a lot of technical stuff on here. Get the car across to the left, full throttle through here, full throttle, and then we want to back off now, hold, now go again. So this is the right-hander section that I told you had 4 apexes in. Get the car across to the right, dab on into third, take as much speed as you can through there. That sausage curb on the left isn't too dangerous. Pit lane on the left, and then where the white line is on the brakes, get the car turned in, carry as much through as you can, and there you go, off for another lap. And what did we do there? What did we do? A 2:06.942. So a PB, well done, Simon. That was a nice effort. That certainly was a nice effort from you. And we've got Mustafa Ranjbar there in the 505 Mercedes. Again, a very impressive livery. Certainly stands out. It looks like we had a Mir just behind. He looks like he's in his own little battle there, to be fair. Let's go and quick pop in the live chat. Again, 9 in with us so far. Welcome, everybody. This is the Formula Racing League PureSimGear GT3 Friday. We are round 4, as you can see there. Milton Tomlinson Dennis with a 2:05.990. Now, Milton Dennis, he really impressed me last Tuesday when I first watched him. Him and James Perry and JR, Lock and Load, had an absolutely amazing race. Really, really good, close, hard racing. And he wasn't with us on Tuesday because he was with AOR. That's fair enough. But good to see him back tonight. He's got a lot of pace. Him and Alfie Barron, those two, I'm looking forward to see what they can do. These boys are going to have some... Oh, yes. Yes. The new Hadrian's Wall of online racing. Oh, no. Oh, I'm getting too busy watching, looking at the stuff in the live chat. So, away from that for a moment as we concentrate on Ranjbar. So he hasn't got a sector in yet. The last one was a 2:08. So we're going to see what he can do on this one. But top of your timesheets, we won't come off him just yet. We're going to finish this lap with Mustafa. I think that is only fair, that we don't just jump off him. We don't see Mustafa that often. So we'll give him some air time, shall we? But look at that, it's 1 3/4 seconds up on that lap, and Milton's gone yellow on my screen there, so I think he's had a slight off, trying to improve. Over 2 seconds down for Mustafa. So obviously we've got some track evolution. Air temp's gone up by 2 degrees, track temp's gone up by 2 degrees as well, so it is hot there. Anyway, let's see what Mustafa can do. So Ranjbar does a 2:07.035, as you can see by all the greens. That is a PB. Well done to you. Let's get to the front of the field. Let's have a look at Milton in his 159 Audi. So currently, you can see there, in terms of sectors, not the quickest through sector 1 and 2, is the quickest in sector 3. Putting all that together gives him an overall quickest lap. But, well, Alex Zagdow, sandbagging Honda man. Look at him with a 2:05.837. Stonking lap. That is impressive. So Zagdow takes the lead, and then we've got this man, Milton, who's just about to cross the start-finish line. Obviously starting a quick lap now. Rock Cops is currently 3rd, and he's in a 2:06.317. Chris Vining's, well, I was going to say he's 4th, but he's just popped over the line into P2, so he's improved again. You can see where these guys are all improving and where they're not. Alfie Barron currently stands in 5th, but is improving. Garby's in 6th, again is improving. Sergio obviously is in the AM category, he's in the pits, his qualifying is finished. Simon Tubovsek, who we did the lap guide with, he's in 8th currently, and Michael Races is out on a lap, so we're looking for a time from him. Ranjbar as well. So Michael's 9th, Ranjbar 10th. Alfie Barron's just gone yellow, which isn't good, but Milton has just done the quickest first sector, I do believe, because he's purple on my screen at the moment, so that bodes well for the end of his lap. 2 minutes left of qualifying, so maybe they'll get another one in after this. Dave Goodway's in 13th place so far. Edo Cop's down there in 18th, so he needs to get a shift on, otherwise Rock Cops, well, again, yeah, he's going to have those rights. Camara is in 20th at the moment. And then who have we got there? So Milindinovic is 22nd. And then Polovchuk's 31st. Amir's 32nd. Traction Dave is down in 34th as Milindinovic goes yellow. So, can we get an improvement from Mr. Milton Tomlinson Dennis in the 159 Audi? He is currently 4/10 up. So let's get on board and let's have a look at him. Chris Vining in second is currently just about to improve on his lap time, so that is good, but then he's just lost a tenth or two, and Milton's lost about a thousandth just through that corner. Again, you know, we're saying about the track and how you need to balance the car, you know, it's very, very technical. This is going to test our guys over the next 60 minutes as we're coming up towards... and Milton's backed out of that, so he's going to go for another flyer. As you can see, there's 58 seconds left, so we're going to come off Milton. And let's have a look at Chris Vining. A beautiful all-white livery there in the Honda. He can never ever get his livery on. Don't know why. Don't know why at all. Right, 2S6 flying. YouTube probably don't even acknowledge Iron... Of course they do. They love Iron Brew, JR. You don't expect a Beamer to be on the podium. Wow, we'll hold you to that, JR. So JR Lock and Loan says no Beamers on the podium. So we've got Honda, Aston, McLaren at the moment. As we're watching Chris Vining. Let's have a get on board and listen to that Honda. As we go through COPS and... Oh no, we're not at Silverstone, are we? We're somewhere else. Somewhere else that's just copying corners. But anyway, there you go. It works. Zach Dale still leading. Chris Vining, we're on board if now, is improved. You can see that. He's about a tenth up on his previous lap. That, though, I mean, if he does a tenth, that still wouldn't be enough. He needs about a tenth and a half if he's going to secure a pole position. Tomlinson, okay, he is on for pole at the moment, being 3.5 tenths up. So he's your man. He's your man that could steal pole position away from Alex Zachdale. Garby's improving, but I don't think, no, he's not anymore, so that's not going to help him at all. Simon's improving as well in 8th. What's that? Where is he? 8th. 3/10. That would definitely move him up a couple of positions. I'm sure he'll be hopeful to keep that going. And Milton Dennis is still on that previous lap time. 3/10 up at the moment, so, well, that's definitely going to put him on pole position if he can get that one completed. Qualifying it has finished, so the guys that are on a lap can complete that lap. Otherwise they're done. Michael Races is still on a lap. Traction Dave's improving from 13th, and Dave Goodway looks like he's also improving as well from 16th. Right. Oh, don't know, he's lost a tenth there, so it's only 2 tenths up now. If he does 2 tenths, yeah, that'll still be enough. But he's losing time through this section. Certainly, Zachdale's not going to improve, so he's done. He's finished. You can see we've got a flag there. Chris Vining didn't manage to improve. Here we go then through the last corner. Can he get? He's got to get on that throttle early. Squeezing that throttle on, and there you go. I did say it was good enough for pole position. So Milton, fantastic work from you, Mr. Milton. Milton Tomlinson Dennis, pole position, ladies and gents. Closely, very closely followed by Alex Zachdale. Vining's in 3rd. Rock Cops 4th. Oh no, he's still on the lap actually. Let's let Rock Cops finish his lap. Even with that, he's not going to improve, no. So there we go. There's your starting lineup. Eventful. So we do have an AM in the mix. So Sergio's in 8th overall, and Dewsbury is 12th overall. Alan Brown, remember, who's leading the AM class, is 15th overall. So there's plenty for these guys to all deal with, which for me, well, it's just great. I love it. It is fantastic. Right, let's get out of there. Let's go back to there. 1 second, ladies and gents. I'll give you the full rundown in a moment. I've just got to put a few little bits and pieces on one of my 1700 screens, so you guys can enjoy. Right, that is all up there. Good. Right, let's have a look. Alan Brown's in. Hi, Coops. Yeah, good luck, mate. Good luck, Briz. Michael regrets his choice. I know he does. He's not getting on with her at all, to be fair, but we'll see. Anyway, let's give you your starting grid, guys. Remember, we've got a 60-minute race on the way. 1 mandatory pit stop. I need to actually put that on there, don't I? 1 second. Pit stops. 1. Okay. And let's do race gaps. Right, let's put that on there. Right, so you can see we've made a couple of changes. So now we know we've got a pit stop to do. You can see that gold one on the left-hand side by their names. So that indicates to have 1 stop to do. When that is complete, that will go green obviously they are then good to go until the end of the race. So starting, Milton is on pole. He's going to start alongside Alex Zakdow in second place. Chris Vine is going to start third alongside Rob Cox. Garby in fifth alongside Tobovsek. And then we've got Alfie Barron seventh alongside Osorio, number one in the AM class. Traction Dave 9th, Michael Race is 10th. Oh my word, the battle of the Northerners. Those two are best mates. This is going to be interesting to turn one. Maybe they won't be friends afterwards. Ranjbar 11th, Dewsbury's in 12th, second in the AM class. Then we've got Polovchuk 13th, Amir is in 14th. Brizzle's in 15th, Alan Brown, third in class for the AMs. Then we've got Dave Goodway, aka Crazy, 17th, Longdon's in 17th, sorry, Nick Stick 18th, Camara's 19th. Edo Cops is in 20th, and then we've got Robbie Robstra. Let's go down and have a look at Robbie. Robbie Robstra's in 21st, Vilheiner is 22nd, Ian Thompson's 23rd, Chris Jones 24th, Milan Dinovic is the lowest placed pro driver in 25th, Yida Tobing 26th, Neil Woodward 27th, Chris Gedman starts in 28th position, Ryan Blanchett 29th, and Terry Williams starts in 30th. Fabian Carnat 31st, Michael Herbert starts in 32nd, Beaucamp 33rd, and Keno, look at him. Keno starts, there he is in all his glory. He's taking it easy today. He said, I'm going to chill, I'm going to stay at the back, because obviously he had experience of what happened yesterday, and thought, I'm just going to take my time and let the carnage unfold in front of me, and hopefully just pick off some people that way. So why not? Let's see if it works. So there you go. That is your starting lineup for this evening. Anyone got anything interesting to ask me in the live chat? Sergio in top 10 is, yeah, he's quit. You've got to remember, Jar, Sergio was actually in the pro class last season, and for whatever reason, maybe the car of choice struggled a little bit. It's come down to the AM class, and I think he's just really getting on with that Aston really, really well. So that's all good. Anyway, they're starting the formation up. The Geordie Wars coming soon, yeah. Christian Romano, P1 and P7 at the start for Eclipse Racing Esports, and Milton is great in COTA. Looking forward to them. Christian Romano, I saw that name somewhere else today. Codeman's in. Good evening, Codeman. I hope you are well. We are on the formation lap before this 60-minute race gets underway around COTA, and it's fantastic to see all you people, whether you're new, whether you're regulars, in the live chat. You know I appreciate it. Get involved, drop a like, come on guys, that'll be super awesome, and we can take it from there. So this is always the boring bit, really, isn't it? Let's be honest. You know, they're driving really slowly. Oh, that coffee's gonna be cold. I've hardly had any. Oh, still warm. Oh. Thank you very much. Yeah, so, you know, formation lap. That's it, really, isn't it? So, what are they doing in the formation lap? That one is very obvious. Let's get on board and let's see what a pole sitter does on his formation lap. Look at that. How fast he's going. Car sounds weird, right? It sounds a bit odd there. Well, that's because he's dragging the brakes. Why is he dragging the brakes? Well, obviously, when you've got your brake on slightly as you're moving forwards, that's going to generate heat, which will obviously disperse out from the brakes into the tyres. So it's going to help heat and put temperature into those tyres, which, of course, well, we need to have decent tyre temps. Track and ambience are the same. 33 ambient, 43 on track. No change there. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Chris Vining, there you go. Rock Cops there. Oh, he's getting a bit of a weave on his Mr. Cops. So he's trying to create some lateral heat in those tyres. Always good to see. You want a... what? Medical bell. No, I don't need a medical bell. Do you know what? That would be, if I did that, you guys would probably see some kind of violent event take place live on air, which we don't want to happen, do we? Because then there'll be no comms. But yeah, can you imagine that? Ding-a-ling-a-ling. It's not worth my life, that one. I might do it and just blame you. Although we have seen in the past beverages have been brought in. Just not going to happen today. So there you go. There's Guard B. Let's have a look at some liveries. Guard B. Simon's in there in his Ferrari. Alfie Barron, as you can see there, in the 22 McLaren. Sergio in his Aston, the 503 Aston Martin. Traction Dave, I just think he likes really bright colours. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. In his bright McLaren there. And then we've got Michael Races, Ranjbar, Dewsbury, RKM representing there. Right, let's get back up to the front of the field. So we are approaching the final corner. So they're going to get going pretty quickly. Remember, this is the PureSimGear GT3 Friday, hosted by myself, COMMS by COMMS for Formula Racing League. We have 60 minutes ahead of us, guys. Let's hope it's a clean one. That's all I can say as they wait. And they wait. Alex is keen, isn't he? Look at him. Milton, I'm assuming, in his ERS team. Oh, look at that. He's got all his team livery on there. That looks fantastic. Well done to you, Milton. Go, go, go. 60 minutes is underway, guys. Round 4 at COTA. That is a good start. Oh, my word. And Zagdal's getting absolutely swallowed up there. Any contact? Any contact yet? None so far. There's a little bit of a squeeze going on in the middle there. Looked like Michael Races was involved in that. But is he? That's the question. Do it, you'll pay me a £5. Thanks, mate. I need it. Need all the money I can get. And my ace... Oh, dear. Well, you know what's going on here, ladies and gents, don't you? Change. We do. We can change. Right, so we're having some technical difficulties from them. See me start sweating then. Right, so Tomlinson is up top. Let's check this out. So he's currently up top. He's got nearly a 1 second gap back towards Chris Vine in there, as you see, just coming into the bottom shot of your picture. Rock Cops is still third, another second back, and Garby is fourth, half second back. Zagdal in fifth. So Zagdal looks like he's the man who wants to be putting on some pressure at the moment. So let's have a little look at the back of Garby. 0.3 behind him, but Garby's only 0.4 behind Cops. We know it's early doors, but hey, it all counts. It all counts, and nothing else going on in terms of yellows or anything like that on my screen at the moment, which is absolutely brilliant to see. So Alfie Barron, there he is. Let's have a quick run through, have a look at everyone, see if we can catch any action as it happens. So Ranjbar, where's Traction? Oh my word. So Michael's got himself up to 7th. Traction Dave, so him and Michael must have touched. Traction finds himself down in 18th place, a drop of 9 positions there, and he's looking to put the pressure on Nick Stick. We've got Dave Goodway just in front of him, and who's behind? Robbie Robstra behind him, and then Mark Vilheiner in the Playboy Porsche number 66, having a fantastic race, no doubt. Keno's made up. Oh, Keno, look at him go. Look at Mr. Keen. He is keen, isn't he? Right, we won't bother with the fastest laps at the moment. Obviously, it's going to show you what's happened, but lap 1 doesn't really count. So Keno, he finds himself up to 30th. He's made up 4 places already, and he's looking to put some pressure on Daniel Beaucamp, who also started on the back row behind him. Good. I thought he was going to get tagged then. He's got to be careful. He's got a car on the inside. Oh, he got squeezed. So Keno, oh my word, Keno is having a right old battle at the moment. Let's have a look behind him. Well, so Sergio, well, Sergio's obviously been an instant, hasn't he? So Sergio goes diving up the inside, as does... Was that Beaucamp who just jumped up the inside? No, it was Chris Jones. Wow, so Chris Jones took advantage of that. He saw that Sergio was making an opportunistic move, and he thought, you know what, I'm going to follow him through. If Keno closes the door on me, we're going to touch. And, well, that's the way it is. So, a very nice livery on that on that McLaren there. That's what is that, a long smile? Yeah, that's brilliant. Well done you. Well done you. Right, oh no, Keno's obviously just... What happened? What happened, Keno? Well, the replay function wasn't working the other day. Let's see if I can grab that. No, it's not happening. 1 second. Let's pop in the live chat whilst that pauses and half dies on me. Yeah, that's definitely not working. And I need to reconnect. So, guys and girls, you're going to have to bear with me for 1 moment and get that reconnected so we can bring you action and stats. Oh, but whilst we're doing that, well, there goes Keno there, unfortunately. So, at least we're back on. have to say, ACC, so I'm not going to say that. The software that I'm using is having some issues today. Chris Viner manages, look at that, Chris Viner puts himself up into first place. Well done to him. We need to change what we've got on there. Right, we're all good. Move to Dennis Air with a new fastest lap of the race. Out in the lead with a 2:06.880. So people are now starting to get in the stride. You can see quickest in Sector 1 and Sector 2. Not quickest in Sector 3, but he's doing alright, isn't he? So Vining in first place. COMMS in second. Yeah, no, now Milton's in for this thing's having issues tonight. Now it looks correct. I'm going to let it just work itself out for a moment or two. 8 of you watching at the moment, fantastic. You've just seen actually a very clean start, apart from if your name is Keno, and he's going to have to do some hard work again. He's made it one place already, so he's managed to get a move done on Terry Williams at the back there. Let's just hope. It's a long race, Keno. You've got 54 minutes left yet, so we'll see what happens. And Chris Jones again making some decent strides, and he's going to now look to attack Christopher Gedman. So let's see if he can. And just in front of Gedman we've got Sergio. Remember, Sergio qualified in 8th place. So I do believe from the beginning Nigel Longdon's just gone yellow on my screen, so I think he's had an issue. As you can see, he starts tumbling down the timing, so he's definitely had some contact or ran wide, or maybe attacked a sausage curb, who knows. But that McLaren, I fancy that McLaren will definitely have the legs on that Bentley. The Formula Racing League livery Bentley, as you can see there, and Amir's also tumbling. Look at him tumbling down the time charts there. So Amir's had an issue as well and moves down to 24th. Not really what you want to be happening there, to be fair, but top 3 is the same: Milton, Chris and Rock Cops. Then Zakdow is in 4th, Garby 6th, Alfie Barron 7th, Michael Races 6th. Alfie, has that move been done? No, he's on the outside. He's on the outside. He's trying to get Chris looking all over the shop in his mirrors. But again, we say this all the time, who's just behind Jones at the moment? Ian Thompson in the Lamborghini. He was looking for an opportunistic move there as well. So nothing is certain. And Chris goes really wide then. Really wide. Had to come shooting back across the track. Thankfully, nobody was in his way, so we could take the race in line. And Chica's making a move up the inside. He's got that move done. That was a very nice piece of driving there, Chica. Well done to you. Blanchett moves down a place. So Sergio's trying to make his way through the field. We know he's got great pace. He was the quickest of all the AM drivers. And lap 1 into turn 1, I did think I just saw a tiny little nudge there. I didn't see anyone sort of, south combust, but there was a little bit of door knocking, and I think that's probably been the result of that. But Chica, he's got to be happy. Chica's got to be happy. Turned around there. Nigel Longdon again. Nigel's not. I'm not going to do replay because it's going to freeze everything again, and we'll have to start from scratch. But so Nigel gets turned around. Yeah, and here's McLaren. The 328 McLaren looks like she's had better days, certainly in terms of that paintwork. So what do we think, guys? Who's your money on for this evening? I can't really see. Well, unless Alfie really starts making waves. I mean, maybe this isn't a favourite track of his. You can see Nigel's going really slowly there, and it looks like he's going to get passed now by Daniel Beaucamp. He does. So I think, Nigel, you need to be getting yourself maybe for a pit stop. And Terry Williams is in the pits. What's he doing in there? So Terry Williams there in the 305 Honda finds himself in the pit lane. That doesn't look particularly good. Keno is up to 30th, and let's see if he's making some strides. He's got 5 seconds to catch up with Michael Herbert, and I'm sure he'll manage that. Chris Jones and Chica, well, they just pinged up on my screen, but they look all good to me. Maybe that's track infringement, actually. Maybe that's why that came up. Yido, look at Yido in 26th. Yido Tobin, he's, last on Tuesday, he really impressed me. I think yesterday he had a more eventful race, let's put it that way. Definitely saw some pink. Wow. some pink carnage yesterday. But again, it's all... Oh, Michael races in the pits. Why is Michael in the pits? So Michael's decided to come in the pits as well. And look at that lap time. Look at that middle sector, over a minute. So there's definitely an issue there with Michael. So he finds himself in the pits, which is really unfortunate. And I think if it's anything to do with that Merc, I think he's just going to be a little bit miffed. And he's not getting on with that at all, is he? So we were looking at Yido. Then so Gedman's up into 24th now. He's holding on to that. He's trying to chase down Blanchette there. And Vilhena is giving me an exclamation as well, so maybe that's something to do with track limits as well. Sergio's got himself up to 22nd, so he is managing to make his way through the field, and as you can see, he's pretty close to the back of Tobovsek in 21st as 1.3 seconds. That's got to be coming down much quicker, I feel. And on the back, wow, the Porsche, as we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all in close proximity there, all trying to catch Woodward, all trying to catch Milendinovic, I believe. So Fabian in the 107. Good racing, chasing down the Playboy Porsche of Mark, who's in 19th place. Was that a move being conducted there? No, I thought Tobovsek was going to try and jump one up the inside, but he thought better of it, as everyone just takes to the racing line. Got a little bit of a train going on here. So Mark Vilhena is in 19th place. In front of him, in his FRL livery Porsche with the Gamer Dad wheels, is Neil Woodward. He's in 18th place. Rodney Robster's just in front of them in 18th. Then we've got Milendinovic, who is in the Pro Class, remember. He's running in 16th place at the moment. So if he's going to catch up with Traction Dave in 15th, he's got about 5 seconds that he needs to make up. Which I'm sure he's going to try and do. So Traction's out running on his own at the moment. Did a PB on the last lap of a 2:10 flat, which is pretty much off the pace though, isn't it? But you've got to take into account fuel, potential damage. Obviously he did come tumbling down the timetables at the beginning of the race. Camara's in 14th there. You can see him in the 71 Ferrari, the Playboy Ferrari, living the lifestyle. He's trying to give Nick some stick. Sorry. In the McLaren, sorry mate, I couldn't help it. You can't do these things to me. Right, so there, that's up into 13th place. That's 0.4. That's close battle. Vilhena looks like he's trying to make a move on Woodward. And those two are line abreast in the Look at that. We've got a trio of Porsches. Fabulous. Back to Nick. And is he managing to keep? Is he managing to keep Camara behind him? Well, let's have a little watch of this, shall we, as we look at some of the gaps. Zakdal, oh, hold on a minute. Zakdal has dropped. Well, no, Zakdal hasn't dropped. That was pretty close. That was pretty close. Camara and Nick nearly come together. They see Traction Dave just in the background with that Dayglow McLaren. My minute's on the replay. Yeah. Wow, I need another replay system by the look of it. So, yes, there is a pit window, mate. There is a pit window, JR. It's a 10-minute pit window, normally between 25 and 35 minutes. So we'll see if the setup on this does it justice and works, basically. So let's get a bird's eye view, or a heli-man's view of what's going on. Dave Goodway in 12th place, just done a PB. His personal best is a 2:08. That's not too bad. Dewsbury there for representing RKM, new fastest lap of the race. Chris Vining, a 2:06.777. I'm going to go and have a look at Chris because he's only 0.3 behind Milton, so we're going to start getting some juicy battles. We will return back to Dewsbury in 11th place. I want to make sure everybody gets some decent track time. Just try and pick up the battles when they come. So this is, remember, for the lead of the race. We've also got a close battle in 5th and 6th. Alfie Barron's only 3/10 behind Garby. Garby has just done an infringement, I believe, from what's on my screen. So these two have managed to work together in tandem and have moved a good 6.5 seconds ahead of Rock Cox. And Zakdal is only 0.2 behind him. That's a little bit more than that, isn't it? Look at Garby. Garby is right all over the back of Zakdal. So Zakdal was trying to put some pressure on Rock, but he seems to have fallen off a smidge, and that's allowed Garby in his BMW to get all over him. And then Alfie Barron, Alfie wants a piece. Alfie wants a piece, doesn't he? Of course he does. So again, we've discussed this every single week. Garby's in a really tough position now because he's really close to Zach Dow, wants to make a move. He might think Zach Dow's holding him up because we know Garby in free practice will have the quickest lap. So we know he's got some decent pace there. Chris Vining obviously fastest lap currently, but he can't just dive up the inside or try and muscle his way past Zach Dow, as he's now only, again, 0.3 behind COMMS. But you've now got Alfie Barron, who's right on the backside of Garby, so he's got to think about defending as well as attacking. And as I said at the top of the show, your man Alfie Barron is as quick as they come. He's absolutely rapid, so we've got a quartet battle developing here, and I believe that is coming from Mr. Rock Cops. Would appear in the Audi there, the 23 Audi, would appear to be the cork in the bottle. Potentially. So the top two are still only separated by 0.4, and then we've got 7 seconds back. You see the top two at the top of your pitch going up the hill there. See ya, boys. See ya. Don't die into T1. And then, anyway, then you've got these four. Well, we've got two pairs at the moment who are battling each other. So Zach Dow's having a good race. He wants a place on that podium, and Rock Cops, well, he doesn't want to let him have that, does he? Garby wants to get involved, as you can see there. I thought Zach Dow was taking a slightly different line, probably to set himself up for this really quick part of the track. And those two are dicing behind as well. It's like watching Top Gun 7, isn't it? All having a dogfight. I don't know. I've never seen it. So that's your top 6. I'm not going to come off that straight away. Ranjbar's in 7th. So he's a good 6.7 seconds behind these individuals. And Polovchuk's in 8th. Edo Cops, the cousin of Rock Cops, is 9th. And then Alan Brown. Wow, oh wow, Mr. Brown. Fresh Briz is 10th overall, putting some good pressure on an established pro driver. He's got Dewsbury not far behind him, and then Crazy. So, yeah, you know, I was going to say they're all FRL guys, but I mean, you're all FRL guys because you race here. But you know, I'm talking sort of console, old school FRL guys. But yeah. So remember, Alan Brown, he's leading the AM class. Was leading the AM class by 3 points, and he's currently leading the AM class. And Sergio Osorio is quite a way down the road. Is he going to try and go late on the brakes? So he thinks better of it. Let's get that car placed nicely instead, Briz. That's what I'll be doing. Let's keep the momentum going because Dewsbury's just behind you. And Dave Goodway's putting some pressure on him as well. Let's have a look at Dewsbury. This is where we got to. Chris Vining Cops, nothing's changed in that top 6 that we were watching those battles earlier on, so that's good to know. And we've got ourselves another little quintet having a nice little scrap going through here. All good. Yeah, he is indeed. Dude in the Beamer needs a medal. What, Garby? Yeah, well, Garby's a great driver, JR. He's really good driver, really consistent. He probably hasn't been about as much this season as previous ones, but was always up there. So if we want to have a quick look and see what the manufacturers look like in terms of what we're all driving, have a look at your screens. There we go. That's what it looks like, ladies and gents. So in P1 we've got Audi, Honda, Beamer, and then we've got McLaren, Merc, Beamer, and Aston, and then a little trio of McLarens. So, and just to show you all, we are a multinational. We are very much a multinational league here. You can see all the different nationalities of people. Again, and we just, you know, it's great. It's great that everyone can be here and get involved. Right. Anyway, back to the race, you lot. Chris Vining putting that pressure on. And we'll go further down the grid in a little while. Have a look. It's only 0.2 as we're on the way down a rather long straight. As you can see there, Milton thinks, well, I'm going to cover off that inside line so that no one's getting late on the brakes and going round that side of me. But, oh, has he gone for a switcheroo? No, Chris couldn't quite pull that one off. Thought he was trying to set himself up for a switcheroo. Rock Cops, see, now they're 9 seconds behind, so they're falling back. Rock is definitely struggling at this stage of the race. Zach Dow's 0.3, still right on his tail. Garby, he's backed himself off, so maybe he's just wanted a little bit of a breather there. Alfie Barron is still can't get by Garby, so those guys are still having a great battle. Ranjbar's doing really well in 7th. Polovchuk 8th. Dave Goodway's just put a move on Dewsbury, so Dave's put himself up. Where is he? Whoa, where? No, he's gone off, so he's made the move and he's evidently ran wide. So Dewsbury manages to take that position back. As we're having a look at him now, you see him getting a big twitch there, managing to control that. So we've got the rather twitchy McLarens battling each other out, and they now have lost touch with COMMS and Brown in front of them because they're having their own epic little scrap there. Fastest lap of the race still held by Chris Vining, and we are 20 minutes into the 60-minute race. Everyone should be settled in quite nicely now. Track and ambient have both dropped a degree. Ambient's 32, track's 42. I'll be really intrigued to know how those tyres are getting on. Let's go a bit further back. We know there's loads of action going on up front. Let's have a quick look at Alfie one more time though, actually. Alfie Barron is only... Oh, this is getting a bit tasty. I think he's got Border sitting behind him. So, JR, this is for you as a BMW driver to see how do you defend on COTA against Alfie Barron. And there's your answer. You don't. You don't, because what an absolutely fantastic move that was. He set that up so well. He's been following him for a number of laps. No doubt he's been watching where that car is strong, where that car is weak, where he could potentially take an advantage. And that's the thing, you know, if you haven't actually tried and been involved in the driving and you see someone making a pass, you're like, oh yeah, well done, well done. It's not. It's really not that. That would have been in play for a while, and that would have had to have been set up 2, 3, 4 corners ago to get in the mind of Gardby, who probably just thought, you shall not pass. And Alfie Barron now releases that McLaren, and let's see if he can get on after Zach Dowell. And Zach Dowell has actually managed to get that move done, but COMMS is fighting back, so these two are having a pretty epic battle as well, taking the different lines. You see, good driving from COMMS there, made sure he definitely gave enough room, and is probably a little bit too cautious, but we don't want to have contact, so these guys are at it. And Alfie Barron, as you can see, has pulled 0.7 tenths on Garby already, so he is on the march. And I'm sure he would love to get involved with these two and maybe challenge himself for a podium. But as it stands, Zach Dell is on the podium. So what has COMMS got? Can he bring that back? Edo COMMS has got himself up to 9th. Polovchuk's in 8th. Let's have a look at Polovchuk in his BMW in the number 15. A 2:08.5 last lap. Invalid lap now because it is in the red, but he's plodding along quite nicely. What's he got? Original, but okay, so he's got a decent livery on there as well. Let's have a go in the live chat, see what everyone is saying whilst we're watching Polovchuk. Yeah, well, yes. Well, that's the interesting thing, JR, you know, in terms of really how these temperatures are affecting the tyres. Yeah, I know we've got a pit stop coming up relatively shortly, but you know, are they going to manage? Are they going to manage to keep it on the track until then? So Ranjbar's in front there in his rather bright Mercedes that we watched Ranjbar in qualifying. He's having a good race, got to say that, in the 5:05. Very consistent. He's got some good pace there. Milinovic goes into the pits, so he's dropped a few places, as you can see. So top 10 currently. Alan Brown is holding 10th place. Got himself a 2-second gap back to Dewsbury. Dewsbury and Goodway still having their pretty mammoth fight. Let's have a look. From, oh no, a Nicky Stick has dropped a couple of positions there. So he's yellow. He's evidently had an incident, which is a shame. So that promotes Camara and Traction Dave have both gone up a spot. Traction's in 14th, Nick's down in 15th. So that is unfortunate for him. But again, we've got plenty of time. Plenty of time. Is he going to dive? Is he going to dive up? What do you reckon? Don't think it's close enough for that. But again, he's just sticking the nose out, just trying to get into Dewsbury's mind to say, I'm ready, I'm going to pounce. You know, you leave that door open, I'm your man. And look, you see, closing up there as well. Upshift, make sure we don't get any wheel spin out there. So these guys are having a very nice little battle, aren't they? They are indeed at the top of the grid. Milton is still leading this race. There he is. Here is your race leader, still very closely followed by Chris Vining. So there's only a second between them, just over by a smidge. Then we've got a full 10 seconds back to Zach Dowell. And you know, Zach Dowell's just made that move in the last lap or two on Rock COMMS. He's now stretched that to 1.7 seconds. So definitely definitely was being held up there, you would suggest. And Alfie Barron in 5th after getting past Garby. Look, he's put 3.1 seconds between him and Garby. So tyres will definitely be playing an issue here, but Alfie and Zakdal are your 2 men on the move. You need to keep an eye on those doubters. Well, Alfie's now only 1.4, 1.5 behind COMMS, so I believe he's going to struggle. I believe Mr. COMMS is going to come under some pressure soon, and Goodway manages. Is it going to stick this time? Well, Dave Goodway manages to get a move put on Dewsbury to elevate himself up to 11th. So well done, Mr. Crazies. Dewsbury, come on, let's fight back. Let's fight back on that guy. Camara is in 13th place. There we go, in his Playboy Ferrari. Let's have a quick look down the grid. And, wow, traction. Well, traction is pretty close, isn't it? Let's be honest, 0.7 seconds. Nick Stick is then in 15th place. We've got someone out of sync there, to be honest with you. So Nick Stick's in 15th place. He's coming under increasing pressure from Neil Woodward in his Porsche. And then we've got Mark Vilheiner in his Porsche. And Sergio's managed to fight his way back up, currently to 18th. Pit window is open. You just heard the message come through. So there's a 10-minute pit window. Everyone's got to come in and get themselves a nice new set of tyres. Oh, steady. Well, I thought Mark was going to go into the back. Obviously, I trust them, but I just thought for a second there that we were going to have a bit of an incident. Thankfully not, as these guys are all dicing down the main straight. Pulls up to the inside. He's just got to brake better than Neil. That's all he's got to do. Didn't fancy it. Less late brakes than Sergio. I saw Sergio there. Well, Sergio's there, and they knock, they bang doors, and Sergio manages to get ahead. So I don't know what Mark will feel about that, but Sergio manages to move himself up a spot, up to 17th now. So Rock Cops comes straight into the pits. That would suggest JR in the live chat that yes, he was struggling on those tyres. Yeah, I agree, and if it can happen. Still got 9 of you with us, which is fantastic. Let's go down the grid. We don't want to leave anybody out this evening. So, Terry Williams, Bosch. There you go. He's in the pits. Amir, he's still out on track, so that's good to see. Nick Stick comes in the pits as well. So, Amir, there you go, he's running 33rd. He 3 laps down. He wasn't looking forward to this race, to be honest with you. I think he said in the pre-race chat that he'd only done maybe 4 or 5 laps and wasn't sure if they were valid or not, really, so that's unfortunate. Then we've got Nick. He's in the pits to get his stop done. Michael Races, he's back out on track, which is great to see. He's in 31st place, down 24 spots, remember. That's not going to do his championship any good. He's second in the championship currently, but Alfie Barron in first is quite a bit further up the road. Then we've got Longdon in 30th place. Bucam is in 29th. Keno's got himself up to 28th. That's great to see, Keno, as he comes into the pits. You better not hit that wall. Look at the back, comes by Coops. Ah, fantastic. Cheers, Keno. Well, I thought Keno was coming into the pits, and then I think he realised he slightly overshot that and thought, I'll keep going. So that's exactly what he's done. So evidently, with the amount of people that are now in the pits, he's got to gain a few places. So let's stay on board with Keno, and let's have a look at the pit stops. So we can see who is pitting, who isn't pitting. Let's have a look at their pit stop length. Well, that's what's always a piece of information that always interests me. Again, there's multiple ways that you could do a pit stop in ACC. You could do an automatic stop where you drive into the box and it lifts your pit south, turns your engine off, changes to blah blah blah. That takes ages. Or there's the way that these guys do it because they're proper, which is on the way in. It's a manual stop on the way in as Keno gets himself some bubbles there, and is that steady, and him and a little bit of a love tap there between him and Amir, I think. But then there's the way that these guys do it, which is on the way into the pits, they cut the engine as the car's still moving, and they make sure they get it right on their markers, and it's a much quicker pit stop. Yeah, it's much quicker. But we can see the benefits of that. If you have a quick pit stop, you know, you get some decent undercuts. So if we go to the top of the times, Milton's not pitted yet, nor's Chris. Zakdale's still third. Alfie Barron fourth, so obviously because that's because Rock came in and pitted. Ranjbar's up to 5th. Then we've got Polovchuk and Goodway. Dewsbury Sergio has now got himself up to 9. So Garby, Brown, Copps, Woodward, Robstrat and Blanchett are all getting their pit stops completed. So we'll see how long those pit stops took when they actually exit of the pits. I can see some live timing on there. We can look at that later. We can look at that later, can't we? I think we can. Right, let's get back to the gaps. Yeah, Alan Brown, I should say, he is doing very well. I've got to say, I've been very surprised at just how quickly he has converted from console to PC. Because we know it's a massive difference, but he's certainly leading the way, doing his championship aspirations no harm whatsoever this evening as well. So we're watching Milton at the moment. He's led from the start of this race, and he has been followed, well, pretty much exactly this distance by Chris Vining. Those two had a very, very good race so far. Zach Dow comes into the pits, as you can see there, from 3rd place. So is Alfie going to pit, or is he going to continue on? Alfie's going for an overcut. Okay, so he feels he's got enough pace potentially in the next lap or two. Well, we got 5 minutes left of the pit window, so he can easily get 2 laps in there. I think he feels he's got the pace to overhaul Zach Dow. But then remember, Zach Dow's going to come out and he's going to be on nice, decent tyres, which haven't had 25-30 minutes of who was that in the background, of pain in this heat. We'll see how that one works out. So Dave Goodway still running. Range Bar, Zach Dow and Polovchuk are now in the pit, so you can see where we've got the 1 next to their driver's name, between their name and their driver number. When there's a 1, that means they have a pit stop to complete. When it's green, as you can see, Rock Copps, Garby there. When it's green, they have done their stop and they're good to go until the end. So we are halfway point of this race. It's been pretty good so far. Not bad for a truck driver. Who's a truck driver? What, Briz? Truck drivers race, don't they? That's always pretty epic. 12 of you at the moment, so good evening. If you just joined us, we're halfway through the Formula Racing League PureSimGear GT3 Fridays. We had a great qualifying session. Obviously things are a little mixed up at the moment because we are in the middle of the 10-minute pit window, so those things are going to start sorting themselves out when people are back out. But headlines really, Milton, Thomas and Dennis has led from the beginning, followed very, very closely by Chris Vining. Alfie Barron is a man on a charge at the moment, so he was down in 7th. He's got himself up to 3rd. And Dave Goodway is, he's doing pretty well actually. I think he's got to be quite happy in that McLaren. So guys and girls, if you haven't, please press like. Pretty please press like. It'll be absolutely fantastic. And I'll also throw it out there, COMMS by Coops. If anyone wants to do the odd one-off donation, it's getting near Christmas, feel free. Go to buymeacoffee.com/comms by Coops. And don't be shy. Right, back to the stats. Top 3 all pitting at the same time, so let's have a battle of the pit stops. I've got my eye. Well, actually, I'll let you guys also have the eye. It won't give you that until you come out. I'm watching the real-time pit stops, so I'm going to tell you who's done the quickest stop out of those 3 as we watch Goodway come into the pits and Dewsbury's in the pits. So let's pick up Zach Dow, who's looking like he's trying to make light work of that McLaren there. So the top 3 are still in the pits. I know your top 5 are in the pits. I'm concentrating on which of the top 3 does the quickest time at the moment. And they're still in there. They're still in there. Right, so Milton. Right, Milton's on his way out. So he did a 33-second pit stop. Chris Viner did a 32.4, so 0.6 seconds. That's going to be very close because there was only about a second between them, and Alfie Barron hasn't completed his yet. That's going to come up in a moment. Rock Copps has done a 33.3. Alex Zakdow did a 32-second pit stop, so he's done a pretty quick one. Alfie Barron is having an issue in the pits. He had a 40.7, which to me suggests that he did have a little bit of damage that he was getting fixed at the same time. So after the pit stops are done, Milton and Chris, well, they're still, well, I mean, what was the point of going in the pits? It's the same. exactly the same, but well, they're going to crack on and continue, aren't they? So who hasn't pitted yet? Miladinovic, 13th, is currently in the pits. Well, that is good to know. And that's about a lot, I think. Everyone else has pitted. Where's Kino? Kino is in the pits. In 32nd, is he having a pit stop or is he done? He's done. No action going on in the pits there. Not that I can see, so it looks like Kino may have finished the race. Oh, look at that. Chase cam, look at the back. It's brilliant, isn't it? Kino at the top comes back. Fantastic. What a great livery. Right, so it looks like Kino's out. Michael Races finds himself in 31st place. I mean, you know, it just shows you, doesn't it? You know, the car can really make a difference because I've got to be honest, I think me and Michael pretty much started within Formula Racing League and sim racing in general pretty much exactly the same time, although we're on different paths. And I've never seen him in a car that he hasn't been at the front or fighting at the front in. I've just never seen it. Whereas in this Merc, he's not the same guy, and I just don't think he likes the way you need to drive her.
Pit window is closing now.
Anyway, pit window is closing, so anyone who hasn't been in and completed, well, you're not going to, and you will be disqualified from the race. So I think everyone's behaving themselves pretty well. Right, Zach Dow. How far away is Zach Dow in 3rd place? So Zach Dow's got 10 seconds to try and catch up with the top 2. Can't see that happening. Rock Cops, remember, he came into the pits early and Alfie stayed out. Yeah, Alfie had managed to get the move done on Rock, who we all thought in his Audi was actually holding people up, as Mr. Jones nicely pulls over there and lets Zach Dow bite. Nice drive in there, Chris. Yeah, so you remember, we thought that he was going to try and go maybe 2 laps and try and go for an overcut. But then I did mention that Mr. Cops would come out on better tyres. Evidently he was struggling probably for a good, I'd say 10, 13, maybe even 15 minutes. Certainly 10 to 12 minutes of that first stint, really struggling on those tyres. So he's now got himself some pace again, and he'll be looking to try and move off and chase down Zach Dow. I think he wants his podium position back. So Alfie finds himself in 5th, and Garby representing all the BMW guys today, especially JR in the live chat. He is doing a sterling job. He was ahead of Alfie. That eventually, after some stout defence, came to an end. But look, he's now trying to put the pressure on him again, which is great to see. Great to see. And Polovchuk's got himself... Wow, Polovchuk. That's what I'm saying. He's just having a quiet race. Yeah. Ranjbar just behind as well in that pink Mercedes. These two are having a... You know, there's nothing major going on. They're having a quiet race. Oh, hold on a minute. Mr. Chris Vine in 3/10. We'll stick on that for a minute, and then we will go back and talk about Polovchuk and Ranjbar, because Polovchuk is closing up onto the back of Baron and Garby, which could develop quite nicely. And these two, they're teasing us, aren't they? They're teasing us. Milton and Chris, you know, every now and then, look, as you see, you know, we get 0.2, 0.3, and then 0.5, 0.6, which is a safe gap, right? That's a big enough gap to be safe. But now 0. I'm thinking all this. Chris is gonna go at some point. He's gonna go for the jugular and he's gonna try and get the race win, but he just doesn't. And I'm not saying he should do anything silly, because points are points. Yeah, Chris Vining has won championships within FRL before by not winning races, just being ultra consistent, you know, seconds and thirds, and just picking up big points every single week. So as a racer, he is definitely a switched on individual. So Garby, let's move and get back to these two and look at. So behind, oh, Edo's put a move on Dave Goodway there, so Edo goes up to 9th. Dave Goodway has moved down to 10th place, but he's not going to be too disappointed with that. Top 10 in this grid. Top 10 is pretty good in this grid. Not DSQ Coops, 135 second. Oh dear. Oh no, Kino's got no. Oh, Kino, I am really sorry to hear that, buddy. Delivery looked fantastic though, and you know what, mate, apart from what happened to you at the start there, I thought you had a very good race, so well done. But yeah, that is a shame. Yeah, Dow, stop abusing me, I'm trying to work. You'll see. You'll see. Next time you're on screen. Guarantee that every week. I think Dow's more famous than I am on the comms, really, because he's always the one there with the comments. But it's all good. I wouldn't have it any other way. As you can see behind, Brizzle and Dewsbury look like they're getting pretty close. That could be quite a Dewsbury battle. No? No. I don't. Okay, sorry. Don't unsubscribe, guys. Yeah. It's been a long day. I've been building wardrobes for my daughter today. It's been a long one. But yeah, sorry about that, Keno, mate. Just enjoy the rest of the race. Have a chill, you know. And there you go. Milton sets a new quickest lap of the race at 2:06 or 1:15. So he's feeling the heat a little bit. And he probably felt, probably listening to me, he probably felt he wanted to put a little bit more distance between him and Chris. And he certainly has. I mean, where's that come from? Was Chris had an... Well, Chris is in traffic. That's why. So you can see there, Milton's really taken advantage of that. And Chris Vining is struggling, or certainly struggled to get through those two who are having their own little epic battle, aren't they? Fantastic. Who are we fighting with? So, Michael Herbert. Is that Robbie Robstra behind it? No, it's Fabian Carnat. So this is the 23rd and 24th having their own really close battle. And that's impacted Chris Vining quite considerably there, struggling to get through these two. And that's allowed Milton to pull at nearly 3 seconds. I can't... Well... I mean, you've got to think these two have been racing at pretty much the same pace for the entire session, yeah? Not just for the race, for quali and free practice. 3 seconds is a big old gap. It's huge in terms of motorsport. But Milton's coming up to another two individuals. You know, if they don't follow the blue flags quite correctly, as well, it's Chica. So Chica and Amir are having their own little dice. You can see Amir takes the line through, and I think Chico is just being pretty wise there, just keeping out of the way. An experienced head. So that won't have slowed Milton up, which will please him. Let's see when Amir decides that he's got to potentially jump out of the way. As you can see, Chris Vining is now coming up to the back of Chica. Let's see if Chica gives Chris the same courtesy. That gap's come down by half a second. It's 2.5, and there you go. Amir just tucks out the way to the left, and that allows Milton to make the dash through. Mark Wilhelm has gone yellow from 19th place. So him and Toby, what's going on with these two? Well, those two are having a little scrap, aren't they? And who is that behind? Is that COMMS? I believe it is. So this is, you know, this is the beauty. This is one of the great things about having both classes running at the same time, because, you know, yes, the pros should be, and I think, well, it looks like Chris is getting, I wouldn't say held up, but I'm sure he would want to have been cleared of Chica by now, as he's putting some pressure on. But this is the beauty of it. You've got the pros who are super quick and aliens, yeah. Then you've got the people at the back end of the pros who are quick enough to be in the pro section, but obviously they're not at the front of the field. And then you've got the AMs, who the guys at the top of the AMs are probably on pace, if not quicker, at certain tracks, given conditions, than the guys at the lower end of the pro field. So they're always going to mix it, as Chris finally gets that move done on Chica, but he's lost well over a second. Look at that, it's 3.5 now. So, and he's still got to get past Amir. That's not working for him. Anyway, Alfie Barron, let's see the gap between Alfie and Garby's still a second. So to be fair, Garby's definitely keeping him honest there, isn't he? But yeah, so you've got all the mixtures there from the two different classes. You've got the different driving levels. Nobody's not good in the PureSimGear GT3 Friday. They're all really quick guys, but obviously they've all at different parts of their journey in terms of sim racing. So they've all got different speeds, different cars, different tracks, and bang it all together, and you've got a really good blend. And so when your alien guys are coming back round and they've got to get past and get through the traffic, they've got to use different skills to do that, which are either going to lose time or gain time. Coops, you're way out, you're way off. What? What closet, Del? I've never been in a closet. My love. Because that's what you always say to me. That I am seriously married, so, you know, to Del. Anyway, again, every time I look at the live chat, Hangman Dow's put in another comment in there. So we were talking about this chap earlier on in 7th place, Polovchuk, as we've got 16 minutes left of this race. And it's gone pretty quickly for me. I don't know about you guys, but Polovchuk in 7th. Again, he's doing nothing spectacular. You can see Ranjbar's still around 3.5 seconds behind him in 8th place. Nothing spectacular from these two. They are being really, really solid and consistent, and they're putting those lap times in. You know, there's no drama ahead of them, and there's no drama behind them. This is just going to be a very, very solid points pickup for Polovchuk and Ranjbar. So well done to them too. Dave Goodway in 9th place. He's going to be very, very happy with that. So Edo COMMS member put a move on him earlier. Dave's managed to get that one back. So Dave's up to 9th and Edo is down now in 10th. 1.8 seconds between these two. Mr. Dewsbury, let's see how he's getting on. Him and Alan Brown were having a really good fight earlier on, and he's actually ahead. So look at that. Aaron Dewsbury is leading the AM class currently. He's got a 1.3 second lead over Alan Brown, who is the championship leader currently in the AM class. So those two are moving along very nicely indeed. Camara in the Playboy, as that Michael Race is doing a move behind, possibly. So Camara is running in 13th at the moment. It is Michael Race's, and Mr. Woodward are getting themselves pretty cosy by the look of it. Sergio battling back, so he's up to 14th. He'll probably think he can get hold of 13th. But then he's 23.3 seconds down the road from his championship rival, Alan Brown. That's a lot of time to make up in 14.5 minutes. So, can't see that one happening, if I'm honest with you. There you go, Mr. Woodward in his beautiful Porsche there. And he's just ahead of Michael Races, who I think Michael's probably just come out to get some laps in. Considering what's been happening to him, unfortunately. So, 15th place for Woodward. Traction Dave, 6 seconds down the road. Again, Traction's had an eventful race this evening. Remember, he came away from the Porsche and jumped in the McLaren last week and got an instant boost, and that was the right decision for him. Positive, he got caught up in some issues at the very start of this race, which dropped him right down the back of the grid. So he's managed to come up 2 places since pit stop, so he's in 16th. Robbie Rostrat, there we go, look at him. In the 85 Ferrari. Robbie is currently running in 17th place. Again, he's had an okay race, I would suggest. I don't think Robbie's been involved in any major issues. I think just getting some decent points there. And he's running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th in class in the AM class. Then we've got Tobin, who's had a lot of practice at this track, I have to say, this week. He's done quite a few races here. He's running in 18th place. And just a second behind him, we've got Ryan Blanchett. So Ryan is definitely going to want to do that. Neil Woodward puts a move. Neil Woodward puts a move on Sergio. And Michael Races, well, he just wants some. He wants some stuff for his for his socials. I think he's just having a bit of fun. Look at that, door to door. Oh, boys, don't kiss. Difficult situation, this one, to be honest with you. You saw Sergio had to back out there. He had to, otherwise they were definitely going to have contact. It's a difficult one, isn't it? When let's go back to Blanchett, where Michael's effectively the race is over for whatever happened to him earlier on, which is a massive shame. And but obviously he's a racer; he wants to race, and we know Michael's got really good pace. And so it's difficult for him probably being where he is at the moment on track, because he's affecting other people's races at the same time. But, he needs to be out there. He wants to finish. He wants to pick up some points, which come the end of the season could be all important. So Blanchett 19th, 20th place. We've got Mark Vilheiner, who's doing pretty nicely in that Porsche. She does look good. She does. Come on. I like that Porsche. Get it, Dell. I get it. About the wardrobes, closet. I get it. That's good. That's pretty good, actually. Yeah, I never fell into it, so I couldn't come out. Let's put it that way. Right, so Vilheiner's in 20th. 21st, we've got Chica in the 55 Lambo. What's Chica up to? So he's running in 21st place at the moment. A steady evening, I would suggest, for Chica. And then Chris Gedman running in 22nd. Now, guys, you've got to remember, Gedman, Chica, these guys pretty quick on the console, and I mean, they're not challenging at the top, we know that. They're in 21st and 22nd position. What we're trying to get across to is they're no slouches yet, and they are still down in 21st and 22nd position. That should show you the level of racing that we've got when we get into the sort of, well, not in the rookies. So Kana, there we go, in the 107. Kana's running in 23rd position. Nick Stick in 24th. And Michael Herbert there. Lots of traffic. So you can see that's Milton. That is Milton. We've had a change there. So, no, it's not. It's Alfie Barron. Okay, so I was going to say, there's Gardby 2 cars back. So Alfie Barron just making his way through some traffic there, and Miladinovich is yellow. Yellow flags are being waved. You can see that on your screen. So Chris Jones is there. Oh dear, oh dear. Who was that? Who was that who just threw their car off? Ouch. Well, I mean, I'm sure there was no need for that. That was probably was it Amir or was it Miladinovich? No, well, it might have been because he's now in the pits. So that was really unfortunate there. So Chris Jones, we're watching at the moment. He's in 25th place with that beautiful livery. I do like it. It reminds me of some kind of sunny type drink or sweet wrapper. I don't know. It's pretty cool. And there's Mr. Herbert there in 26th place in his 46 Audi. Again, having a steady race this evening. Michael Races is in 27th. He's coming up onto the back of Camara there. So Michael's just trying to do everything he can to claw some time back and get some more points. So Longdon in 28th. We saw he was having an interesting race earlier on, and then that McLaren, the tyres, and we saw him off track, just seemed to completely die on him. Bokamp's in 28th place in the pit, so he doesn't look like he's going anywhere. Miladinovich, hello? No, that's Dave Goodway. Well, Miladinovich is not there anymore, as you can see. Amir is still on track, which is good. Well, I don't know where Miladinovich is. Anyway, Taborsek is in the pits. His race is over, unfortunately. That's the 100 Ferrari. Let's go on that camera. Let's have a look at his car. That is unfortunate, isn't it? And then we've got Keno. He's also in the pits again. Unfortunate for him, some brake pedal issues this evening after he's fighting his way back through the field. And Terry Williams has been in the pits, well, since, well, probably the first couple of laps, unfortunately, Terry. And there you go, ladies and gents, that is a full rundown. We have got 8.5 minutes left of this race. Let's see what kind of action we can find in the closing stages. Milton is still leading this race. Vining is still second, 5.4 seconds off the pace. So I'm pretty sure Chris will now be thinking, you know what, it's 8.5 minutes. I'm going to stay quick but steady and pick up any pieces if anything should happen to Milton there. And Milton's also got the quickest lap of the race, by the way, with a 2:06.115, just showcasing his raw pace. As we can see, we've got a nice little battle developing behind. And who is that? That looked like Vilheiner. So let's get on board with him. Where are you, Mark? Mark. Oh, there's Woodward. There he is. Oh yeah, Woodward and Oz are getting into it as well. But anyway, let's get some action. Let's get some battles going on. So Blanchett is still in front, and then Tobin. This is for 18th, 19th and 20th. Again, it's not for a podium, but these guys are fighting pretty hard. And up front there, just looking a little bit further up the grid. So Dewsbury's got himself into the top 10 now. That's fantastic drive from... Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And that's... Well, I did say... I'll plug it again, guys. I put some videos out yesterday and the day before on the Coops Cars series on my channel, YouTube, COMMS by Coops. And the last one I've just done was on the Porsche. And please watch it. It's 4 minutes. And I'm sure what I say about the Porsche, you will all sit there and go, yeah, that is so true. And it's just happened right there. So he loses some positions there, unfortunately. And is that... he was just... taken in 331. Okay, Zach Dow's just gone past him. So, yeah, unfortunate. So, no change at the top. No change at the top. Zach Dow in third place. Having a very good race now is Mr. Zach Dow. After managing to have that battle and get by Cox, he's made that third podium place his own. with some excellent consistent driving, and look, he's managed to pull a 12-second gap back to COMMS in 4th place in his 23 Audi. We know that he's a really quick driver. He's just not living with the top 3 today, and Alfie Barron trying to get past Chris Gedman there. Hopefully Chris will just let him slip up the inside. And he does indeed. No dramas for those two. Garby's dropped off the pace a little bit at the moment, isn't he? So 4.9 behind him. Again, Polovchuk is just doing what he needs to. He's only now 2.8 behind Garby, so we could have a little beamer fight towards the end of this race. Just around 5.5 minutes left. Rangebire's still in 8th. Goodway's still in 9th, so he's doing very well today. He's crazies. Dewsbury in the top 10. P1 in the AM class, ladies and gents. Edo Cops. Rock Cops' cousin is 11th, and then Alan Brown. Right, so how far back is Brizzle? Brizzle's 2nd in class, 12th overall, and they've got a big gap back to Sergio. So the fact that Woodward managed to get a move done. Now I'm sure. Now I know Briz and I know Woodward are quite tight in FRL. I'm sure they're not having any intercom saying hold him up, he's my title rival. It's not teams, obviously, but you never know if that conversation is happening or not. Probably is. Woody pulled it. Yeah, I know, Dale. Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? So 10 of you still in, which is fantastic. I appreciate every single one that takes your time out to have a little view of what we do here at Formula Racing League. Good standard of driving. You know, COTA's a really challenging track, so if any of you want to get involved, please do. At the end of the show I'll pop up some information for you again that you can have a look at. But yeah, we try and make sure everyone gets some decent airtime here. Polovchuk is closing that gap down to Garby. It's now down there, so around about 1.8, 1.7, so I think he fancies, within the next 4 minutes, I think he fancies a shot. And why not? But he would be gutted if he did go for something and then had a crash, after I've been saying that he's had a very good, steady race where he's just going to pick up a load of points. Yeah, maybe he shouldn't be diving in at the last minute. Under 4 minutes left of this 60-minute race, remember. Everyone's had to do a pit stop. No fuel was allowed. Had to change tyres. And yeah, everyone is doing pretty well. So no change at the front. That's now 12 seconds. What's going on with Mr. Vine? It was being held up. That's why. Tobin should now on the straight move out the way. Should. So Chris pulls up on the inside. Let's hope that he's given more than enough racing room. Tobin does manage to just completely stay out of harm's way there, and that allows Chris to get past him. But he's now 13 seconds down the road. So Milton is looking pretty good this evening for another victory. As I say, I've been really impressed with him since I've been doing comms on him over the last couple of weeks. And yeah, 2:06.115 as well. So he's also pole, winning the race and fastest lap. He's having a good day. A very good day. So down the field, Alan Brown, where are you at? He's only 0.4 behind Cops. So he wants to see if he can get another place done and try and solidify. Well, I mean, he has solidified second. I mean, there's no way, even if Neil could catch up with him, which he's 30 seconds down the road and he can't, even if he did, there's no way Neil's going to overtake Brizzle. It's just, they wouldn't talk to each other ever again. And you've got to remember, guys and girls, if you haven't, or if you don't know, I think there's about 42 of us. We're going to Donington in a couple of weeks for the final round of the Intelligent Money British GT Championship, something similar to what we all love doing here. And yeah, 42 of us from FRL. So I'm just trying to be really nice until then, yeah, and then afterwards I can tell everyone, you know, some harsh stuff. Anyway, Woodward loses out to a position with Traction Dave, but he thinks, well, I'm going to fight this one. I'm going to fight it. So why not? Let's have a listen to the Porsche. We've got under 2 minutes left. Close battles on the track. Vilhiner and Tobin. Well, that looks pretty close, doesn't it?
Alright, man. The leader is on the final lap. Give it a final push.
Roger that. So Milton's on the final lap. Chris Jones back there in 20 seconds, just put a move on Kana, so he's managed to gain a place. It's always good. It's always good to gain a place. Right, where is he? Let's go back to Mark again. So him and Tobin are having an absolute epic dice, aren't they? Swapping paint, we've got all pink and Playboy. Look at that, nice move there. That was nice from Mark, just set himself up nicely so he could get up the inside. Oh wow, wow! I mean that there's dives, Tobin, and then there is dives. I would love to have pressed the replay button there. Oh, and Chica. Oh, now if there was contact there, that was like the tiniest bit of contact as Garby and Polovchuk are battling right at the end of this race. I did say this would happen. Milton's on his way round. He's got to be done shortly. But these two had decided they're going to have an epic dice for the last lap of the race. And we don't mind that one bit at all, do we? No, sir, we do not. So let's see the Bieber guys battle it out at the end of the race. I know you're not going, Dale. That's why I am. I'm sad you're not going, really. Honestly. I know I am. Genuinely. So, a nice little duel at the end. So, where's Milton? Let's see where he is first. So, Milton is... Okay, so he doesn't have too far to go. Okay, we'll stick on board with Milton. We'll keep an eye on Polovchuk and Garby, who are having a really good dice. We'll pick them up after we've finished the race with Milton. Absolutely fantastic race from Milton. Again, qualified pole, has led every lap of this race, and yeah, quickest lap as well. Race winner, ladies and gents. There you go. That's round 4 of the PureSimGear GT3 Friday League. Milton asserts his domination again when he's had the opportunity to. So well done to you indeed. Chris Vining comes home. Well done, Chris. A very good second place on the podium there, followed rather quickly by Alex Zakdal. Well done to you, Alex. So there's your podium. Milton, Chris and Alex. Well done to you three. Rob Copps, whoa, Rob Copps is in 4th place. Alfie back now. Alfie's got the jump on him. Look at that. Alfie's got the jump on him, and I believe... Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. So Alfie finishes 4th. Well done, Alfie. And Copps evidently wasn't too happy about that, has taken him out in 5th place. I have to say, from my point of view, I think that was Tobin getting in the way there and trying to fight with these guys. Just get out of the way. Unfortunately, Polovchuk is in 6th again, so he did manage to get the jump on Garby in the end. A fantastic race from you, Polovchuk. Really impressed with that. Garby finished in 7th, and then Ranjbar, we said, just had a really chilled race. Actually, no dramas. Brought it home in 8th. Dave Goodway will be happy with that in 9th place. Well done to you, Dave. And Dewsbury, look at that. Top 10 finish. P1. In the AM class. Well done, Mr. Dewsbury, and the 111 RKM McLaren. Excellent drive from you. Copps finished in 11th place, and then Alan Brown, there you go, P12, P2 overall in the AM class. So well done to you on the podium. Traction Dave managed to get himself up to 14th in the end, and Neil Woodward bringing up the 3rd spot on the podium. As Sergio could only fight his way back up to 15th, but 4th overall. So he's lost points, but damage limitation there. Robbie Robstrat finished in 16th, 5th in class. Camara and his Playboy, change please. Well, he's obviously in the pits or something similar. And then we've got Blanchett 18th. Tobin finished 19th in the end, although I think there's a couple of incidents that should probably be looked at there. Mark Vilheiner finished in 20th. Thompson 21st. Chris Jones 22nd. Kana finished in 23rd there. And then you've got Chris Gedman 24th. Alright. Michael Herbert 25th. Nick Stick 26th. Michael races in the end there. There you go with his RKM. Ready unsponsored. Merck finished 27th, a race to forget for him, I'm afraid. Longdon 28th, Amir 29th. I think his prediction came true. And then we have Turbozek in 30th, Kino 31st, and Terry Williams 32nd. Those three at the back did not complete the race. Wow, that was pretty crazy, wasn't it? I've got to say, that was pretty crazy indeed. So, thank you very much to everybody that took part this evening. That was round 4 of this championship at COTA, of course. 60 minutes, well worth a watch there. Well done to everybody. Milton, Tomlinson, Dennis, great race. Congratulations. Vining, congratulations. Zach Dow, well done to you. And obviously in the AMS, Dewsbury, Brown and Woodward. Good work, guys and girls. Let's have a quick look at the patrons again. I always got to throw this one up again, just in case any of you missed it earlier on. All the ladies and gents that make this possible. So thank you, everybody, for doing that. And if anyone else wants to do it, get involved. We can do more stuff, put more events on. And then when are we back? So we'll be back on Tuesday for the Super Sprints at 8. Looking forward to that. It's Spa next week, which is my favourite track. And I'm really looking forward to that. And yeah, we can go from there, can't we? So, well, I hope everybody enjoyed that. Let's have a quick look in the live chat before we go. JR was happy with that. Well done. Thank you very much, Kino. Thank you, JR. Thank you, Dal. Brizzle, yeah, you watch it, mate. You're going to really enjoy that. So, again, there's still 9 of you, and thanks, everybody. If you haven't pressed like yet, please do. If you want to watch whatever else happens within FRL on the PC side and general other great bits of content that I'm trying to drip feed out to everybody, consider a sub. And yeah, it'd be fantastic. So, listen, guys, enjoy your Friday. Have a fantastic weekend. And of course, I'm going to see you all on Tuesday. But for now, comms by Coops out.